On this week's episode, we talk Chinese spy balloons. I get the State of the Union. I think that's what it was. And the Grammys are the devil. I tripped some of myself.
You're so embarrassing. I don't think these mics are waterproof.
Well, I didn't get any on the mic. I got it on myself. Anyway.
I saw it. Psst.
Oh, well.
It's okay. We got the wind cover.
Yeah, it's all right. So welcome back to another episode. Yeah, this is going to be a disaster. Welcome back to another episode of the Counterculture Podcast. I'm your host, Christian, along with my great friend and co-host, Taylor. And, man. Yeah, when I think about, today we were talking, right? Because obviously, as y'all can tell already, typically we go live on Thursday nights. We're just doing a pre-recording just because of scheduling reasons. But we were trying to figure out what to talk about tonight. And partially it's going to be like I don't know. We're just going to, just throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. But I think we got some good enough topics that I think. Well,
quite a few things have happened. So without getting too political, because I don't know about you, I'm still kind of burned out. So with the political thing,
right? And and recently we've definitely been getting more into cultural deep issues. Like last week we had Zach and C-Love of Kaz TV on talking about.
Before that it was Carla and marriage. And,
right. And so and so if y'all didn't check out either of those episodes, you should go back and check those out because they were amazing. And we're going to have the guys of Kaz TV back. Hopefully next week is the plan. We're still trying to figure out schedule a little bit. But hopefully we'll have them back on next week. We have a part 2 because we could have kept going for hours and hours, I think. But we couldn't stay up all night. So, but before we kind of dive in.
Tell them the real reason.
Do what?
Tell them the real reason.
Why?
It's not that we couldn't stay up all night. You would have gotten in trouble.
Yeah, bro. Look, I got to get up in the morning, man. I mean... I get
lives,
up,
man. We're living double lives.
Sort of.
Podcasters and husbands, and you have to toe the line.
You do have to toe the line, but also again, I do wake up early in the morning in preparation for my day, so it's like I gotta get my hours in. You know what I mean? So, but before we dive into it, make sure you like and subscribe. Right, hit the notification bell. Share this channel with your friends. Right, if you like the subjects of, or if your friends like the subjects of culture. Traditional values, and
it's fun for the whole family.
Exactly. I mean, masculinity, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, share the show. I mean, we love talking about it. I think we're talking about an important message, especially nowadays. It's more important now than ever. And so please do that. And then you can also find us on Instagram at the Counterculture Cast. And then, from there you can find other social media outlets like Twitter and everything else from there, along with our merch store at Teespring. Or it's called just Springs now. I don't know. You can find the link on our Instagram. Okay. So actually, before we jump into this, I don't know. I think we may have talked about this not on the podcast but before. Did you see the Elvis movie?
No.
Okay. Dang it.
I just didn't have a desire to.
So I had no desire to. Christina had been wanting to. So I'm like, the other night I was like, fine, whatever.
Did you like it?
It was all right. Typically, I am a big fan of actually like biopics.
Yeah, like right? What's his face is Walk the Line.
Joaquin Phoenix with Johnny Cash, brilliant movie. Mm-hmm. Bohemian Rhapsody,
great movie.
Freddie Mercury, fantastic movie.
The Dirt was really good too. Have you ever seen The Dirt on Netflix about Motley Crue?
Oh yeah. Yes,
that is a great movie.
Yeah, what was funny is at the time that movie came out, we didn't have Netflix, and you're like, here's my Netflix information.
Yes,
go watch it right now. So yes, I have seen The Dirt. Very good movie.
And believe it or not, even with MGK in there, like him, love him, hate him, want to see him in a ditch.
He's pretty cringe, but he's quite. As
Tommy
Lee,
picked it
he does a good job, right? And everyone in that film actually does a really, really good job. The Dirt is a very underrated movie. It's
my wife liked it, but
yeah,
I'm sorry, Elvis that is, but I don't know.
Brittany watched Elvis.
Yeah, she liked it.
Okay.
She's seen it.
My problem with one of my problems with the movie is way too long.
Really?
Like, it's a 2.5 hour movie.
And you feel like it didn't need to be stretched that long?
No.
I got you.
I'm like, well, part of it is, actually, it's not even that. I don't mind a longer movie, but I don't want it to feel like it's a long movie, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, well, like, if the movie captures you, you lose track of time.
Right.
Like Avatar, even as long as it was, to me, the first Avatar was so like visually like stimulating. Like, you didn't realize you were there for so long. Except
I can't believe that second
your
movie's
bladder
gonna make
came knocking at the door.
I can't believe that next movie's gonna make $1 billion. Way of the Water, or whatever, the new
one. Really?
Yeah, it's already like the 5th highest grossing movie ever.
I feel like the haters were trying to like stop it from being what it was, and it's a box office smasher. It just comes in and smashes. It's like Wrecking Ralph.
Subpart. That's a great movie. That's a very good movie.
The second one was almost even better.
I like Break the Internet more. It's like the first one is very nostalgic.
Sequels well. Disney's kind of always been like a straight to VHS kind of thing. But Pixar does sequels well. It's like they time it out. They know just how long it needs to wait to...
Yeah. Except for Incredibles 2. That should have come out like way... I mean, it was like 15 years after the first one. That was way too long to come out.
And then you turn around and make one too fast with like Cars 2. Cars 2 is kind of like a... But then Cars 3 is like they waited long enough that they redeemed themselves. You know what I mean?
Those movies are garbage.
You don't like Cars?
Cars is okay. The other ones are
I thought Cars
trash.
3 wasn't bad.
It's
Ka-chow.
It's Pixar's low point.
Cars. You see those TikToks where it's like somebody just filming outside and they're like, oh man, I think there's going to be a...
Oh yeah, someone said there was lightning outside.
And all of a sudden there's like this little like, ka-chow.
Ka-chow. He's like,
this Lightning McQueen
toy.
He's
like, oh shit.
Yeah, you know what I was getting at.
Yeah. Okay, so... also, well, actually, you know what else is a Disney movie that they want to pretend like never happened is Planes.
Oh yeah, no.
They want to pretend like that movie never existed.
Sweep it under the Disney rug.
That never happened. Just like all the anti-Semitic stuff they used to do, like we're gonna pretend like that never happened.
Exactly.
Like,
what were you gonna talk about with Elvis?
We never hated
just
Jews.
The fact that it was long.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. And so not only that, I obviously know who Elvis is, but I've never really listened. Yeah. Exactly. But I never really listened to the music. His music was actually really great. Like, I really think Elvis was phenomenal, right? Which people will hear like, duh. But I never listened to the music before watching the film.
What do they call him? He's the king, man. He's the king.
Right. Well, again, you hear all these things. I'm like, I don't know.
There's a reason why they call Michael Jackson the Prince of Pop, because there's only one king.
I thought he was the king of pop.
The Prince of Pop.
Well, he's the king of pop, and then Elvis is the king of rock and roll.
Elvis was always the king. I guess when Michael Jackson came around, they're like, well, he's good too. Was there two kings?
King of rock and roll and then the king of pop.
Yeah.
And also Tom Hanks as like he plays like the manager or whatever for Elvis. No, number one, I think Tom Hanks is a crappy person in general.
Great actor though.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing. It's like he's at the point where I just see Tom Hanks when he's playing a film or playing a role. Like I can't get in. Like for me, I'm like it's Tom Hanks with like a fat body on. Like I'm like I can't get into this. This is silly. So that was kind of tough. Like I know why they wanted to bring in like a big name to draw in, but it's like Tom Hanks I didn't think was a bad choice. I think you could have gone with. Like, I think what would have been a better choice that would have been unique was like a Woody Harrelson. He's like an older guy.
Yeah.
Like, Woody Harrelson would have been cool. Cause it's like a guy from like Norway. He has kind of a weird accent. Like, Woody Harrelson would have been cool. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. I can see that.
I just think it was uninteresting. I'm like,
and I like Woody. Woody can play a lot of different roles.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson is
But Tom Hanks, to your credit, I mean, Tom Hanks is just Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the greats. I mean, all that kind of stuff. But it's just like,
whether it's Polar Express or Toy Story, it's all just... It's just Woody. Even in Castaway, it's like, except for Forrest Gump. I mean, never go full.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
you can't say. Can you say it? Can we say it?
I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's the line from Tropic
Thunder. I'm the dude.
I'm a dude playing a dude. I love that movie so much. We've said it so many times. I mean, that's such a fantastic film. But I know this is turning like to the counterculture, movie cast. But hey, movies are culture. I think. What was really...
We should do like TikTok or like Instagram lives where we just like talk about movies.
We should.
Or
we just shoot it on our
like
podcast.
30 minutes. Yes, there you go.
No. So anyway, it was pretty good. Too long, right? Again, the movie came out a while back.
Did you ever watch Vengeance yet? Dude.
No, but it's on Amazon Prime now.
It always was, wasn't it?
No, you had to like it was like in theaters, and now it's just like included with Prime. I have it on the watch list, right? So I haven't. It's on the watch list.
Tell me, it's Vengeance for those who haven't watched it. I mean, never mind the fact that he does a.
Well, the Ashton Kutcher's in it. I think he told me for like 5 minutes.
I told you it's very small, but it's a
major role as far as
it's a good role for him. I don't know. It's not. I didn't even know who was in it, so it's not really like a name.
Well, I meant like his part in the movie is crucial to like what happens.
I would say
right to the rest of the film.
Yeah, without giving anything away, I would say yes, but he just plays the role really well. It was just good acting all around, and like not the story that I was expecting to for such a simple story. I mean, you're just captured the whole way through. So I don't know.
No, I'm gonna pick that for our next movie night because again, she picked Elvis and it was fine. It was alright. I mean, like I just think like the stylistic way they went about it, I was just like, eh. I'm like, because again, I'm a big like especially musician biopic fan. Yeah. I'm like, they try to be kind of stylistic with it. I'm like, no.
See, that's just where they went wrong with me. And unfortunately, I used to like Austin Butler, so to me, that wasn't even the issue. I just think
he was all right. He wasn't with
the
way
it was marketed and all
him.
that. It was just kind of like came across almost more cringy to me, so I lost any desire to watch it. And then when all the stuff was coming out, like all the press release and everything building up to it about, he goes, all these guys, they go on Jimmy Fallon, they do all this kind of stuff before the film actually comes out, and he was stuck doing his Elvis voice. I'm like, dude, I was watching you back on like MTV's Shannara Chronicles and stuff. I'm like, that is not your voice. And then suddenly you do like an Elvis movie and you like can't drop the voice.
Yeah, I saw a video about that too. Like he's still using the Elvis voice. It's like, well, that is really weird. That's like
it's like bizarre. It just became like, this is my identity now. I'm Macho Man. It's like
I mean, Elvis is a lot cooler than you are.
It's like if Austin Christian Bale never dropped the Batman voice after going through Batman.
I'm Batman. Rachel.
It's like Christian Bale's on Jimmy Fallon. So anyways, I was in New York and there's this taxi. It's just you just can't drop it. So to me, that's why. Anyways,
that's funny. So anyway,
15 minutes of Elvis.
Yeah, I know. But again, growing up, I've been listening to his music now the last couple of days since watching it.
Well, that's what happens with these movie biopics.
I know it always happens.
I became a big Motley Crue fan all of a sudden. I'm like, I knew one or two songs, but I'm like, Motley Crue.
Yeah. Queen after Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen.
I always liked Queen though.
I always did, but I got more into them. The Elton John biopic, also not bad. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Isn't it called Elton?
No. What was it called? I can't remember.
I thought it was
Taron Egerton. He does a very good job.
Wait, it was like Diamonds and Sapphires or something weird like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, now I have to look it up. Dang it.
Look it up.
Look it up. So that one, which is really funny about that one is that for the Elton John biopic, like when
what's his name? Targ.
It's Taron Egerton.
Yeah, that guy.
Targ. What's funny is
you're laughing. That was pretty close.
Let's see. Movie is what's it called? What was it called? Rocket Man. Okay, it was called Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
No. So and that's where we get copyright strike. So
I think it was less than
Taron Egerton. What's funny? Yeah, I think what's funny about that is Taron Egerton did the Elton John song in the movie Sing like 2 years before. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
And what's funny is I turned.
We're dads, so like that's the
Sing and Sing 2, very good movies.
Well,
Illumination.
The producer or whoever watched that because they're probably a family man too, and they're like, yes,
that's our
guy.
You know what's funny is I just had a feel. I'm like. His rear end is going to be asked to do Elton John. I just knew it was going to happen. I remember watching it with the kids. I looked at Christina. I'm like, he's going to play Elton John in a movie. And she's like, what? I'm like, yes. They're going to pick him. And then 2-3 years later, that's who they pick. And he does a good job, right? I mean, he was good. He's a good actor, right? He's in Kingsman, right? He does a really good job. I like Taron Egerton a lot. So, I don't know what we're doing. I know. We're just
do you really want to talk about the other stuff?
Yeah. So, another thing, right? I don't want to forget this. This Saturday, 6-year wedding anniversary. for me.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 6 years. It's wild. I mean, it's well. First, I keep forgetting that it's this weekend. But we got some. We have some plans, all that kind of stuff. One of them is actually going to look at houses. Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But
whereabouts? Just curious.
It's off of 2978, right? Of Husman's Corville. Okay. Is where we're looking. I'll tell you about it when we get off.
No, we'll just. What is that? What's that called? Whenever you like put out all of your detailed information, you dox somebody.
Dox
dox
so
yourself.
Let me tell you everybody where I live. Just kidding. Or might live. Well, wouldn't after that. Anyway, so we're gonna do that. But yeah, 6 years. 6 years of being married. 6 years, 3 kids, folks. It's not that bad.
It's like 2, 2, 2.
Yeah. It gets better as time goes on. That would be my personal assessment of marriage at this point.
Yeah. And that's what I tell everybody who's like having issues while they're dating people is like, that should be the easy part. Because once you get married and you have all these like life-changing events and like your commitments like become like absolute, that's when you really have trials as man and wife. And once the honeymoon phase and stuff kind of wears off, and hopefully you truly know who your partner is already. If not, that ugly self's going to come out. If you're not prepared, that's when a lot of people, I guess, end up in divorce early on. But if you can work through that, I mean, after that, I mean, you just keep working on those like skills of the communication and how to talk things through. And I mean, you're setting yourself up for a long and happy marriage, but you got to get through everybody thinks that the early years are like the easiest, but I think, maybe the first 6 months or a year, and then kind of the nitty gritty comes out. Yeah,
especially if a kid comes in there. I would say the second year of marriage is the hardest year,
especially with kids involved. And the other thing, if you don't have kids involved yet, what are you doing with your life? But secondly, is what if you get a promotion or an opportunity to go, move out of state for your job, but your spouse's career is just now starting to flourish and you get this tug and this pull. There's other things that can put a strain on a, let alone just any relationship, but at least like, hey, maybe we can try long distance or, where's the commitment on this? If not, I'm going to follow my dream and try to pursue this career thing. But when suddenly you're married, like there's either one person's making a sacrifice or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest, from what you're saying, like with people have issues, I think it depends on what kind of issues, because a big red flag for me is if someone is like, they never have a disagreement or any sort of argument, right? When you're dating, it's like, that's very unrealistic, because even the best marriages in the world, you're going to have arguments and disagreements with your spouse.
Yeah. If you're not butting heads at all, then somebody's holding something back.
Right. And that's going to build resentment, and eventually that bomb's going to burst.
Well, when you're first going on your first couple of dates and stuff, obviously you're going to let everything slide, because you're just like trying to set this, not expectation, but you're just trying to like, everything's fine. And then, you date after a while and little things start to like bug you, and you got to start letting those things out. Otherwise you'll get to the point where, someone pops a question and then you don't really truly know that other person because they've been holding part of themselves back. I don't know. We're going really deep into marriage, but anyways, congratulations. 6 years.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've passed 7. I think we're going on 8 now or something.
Yeah.
It's not a race. Don't worry.
Well,
you're never going to catch up unless I die, which is where they till death does you part.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. But I mean, cause y'all got married. We got married in 17 and y'all were married in 15.
I think it's
15. Summer of 15. Yeah, because I met.
Summer
it was
59. Is it 59 or 69? Even better.
Bryan Adams, so good, dude.
So good. So good. We're just on a music. Anyways, biopics.
Wow. Anyway,
now we're copyrighted. I'm just kidding. They won't get you. You're not that
copyright strike, and we're taking off YouTube. So.
But awesome.
But yeah, so, and again, it just makes me laugh, because when you look at, and again, this has come up a lot recently for us, and again, I think we should continue to talk about it, is, the fears and reservations people have about marriage, right? Whether it's about the what if they run off or things like that. Can those things happen? Yeah, they can. They can happen to any of us.
Shit happens every day.
They can happen to any of us. However, it's about if you find the right person that's willing to buy in with you, right, and go on that life journey together. Yeah. Like I just don't. And again, maybe
don't waste your time or theirs.
Well, number one, I just tell you, shit or get off the pot, right?
Exactly.
If you're not gonna, people that are dating for 5 or 10, it's like just move on with your life.
Well, life
is just wild.
Well, not only that, but life is short, man. Like if you don't, somebody else will. I mean, if you don't commit to that other person, I mean, you got to kind of take that leap of faith and hope that somebody is just as invested in you as you are in them. Mm-hmm. But that's what love is in the first place. Giving more of yourself to the other person and not expecting anything back. Give yourself truly and fully to the other person. And ideally, if they're a good partner, they're doing the same back as well. And we talked about this, or I brought it up with Carla. It's like that pushback. And somehow y'all meet in the middle just by loving the other person and no longer yourself. And that changes. The funny thing is just when you think you've got that down, you throw a kid in the mix. And I have pretty much zero advice for you for that because you got to just go through it yourself and figure out what works. But as a part of you changes the moment you become a father. Because when you get married, sure, you're trying to commit yourself to somebody else and you're trying to like help them, give them the best life. But it's more of a mental choice that you're having to make that conscious effort. Like, hey, we're man and woman now, man and wife, man and woman. Technically, that's anyways.
What is a woman?
What is a woman? But no, you're man and wife now, and you kind of make that conscious choice to have to remind yourself, okay, what would she want to do, or how can I help her? But as a parent, it's instinctive. It's overnight. So you're a father automatically, and everything you do is for them. But you have to still remind yourself that you also got to live for your partner. And that's hard to do sometimes because that's where I think Carla has a good message too, is that whole don't become roommates thing. As parents, that's even harder. I mean, it's one thing to kind of have a falling out as partners. If you don't have kids, just go on more date nights, do this, make an effort, because that's all it is making a conscious effort. If both people want it and they make an effort, then it should be easy. But when you have kids, you may not be able to go on date nights. You may have to be creative back at home or somehow, pull more weight here because someone's had a long day so they can go take a bath while you do the laundry, clean up dinner, even though you cooked and worked a full day. So then maybe there's a little bit of, mom comes into wife mode just a little bit in that evening because my wife has always said it's like wearing multiple hats. Credit to her, and she's sometimes they need a little help or to be reminded on that they can switch that hat. So,
absolutely, and that's where again, it's like you said, it's making that conscious effort because if you don't, like I said, once the kids are gone out of the house, right, you look at the person across the room from you, right, and you don't really even know who they are. Because y'all are so invested in the kids and all this kind of stuff, right?
Are you talking about when the kids just leave in general, or empty nesters?
Once they grow up and move out, right? I mean, you don't want to be stuck in this situation where you're married now for 20-something years and you're like, I don't know who this is, and then
suddenly the kids leave and you have all this extra time with that person. You realize you almost don't know that person anymore. It's one thing to go through the motions on who takes the kids to school and what's for dinner tonight and where should we go. Oh, Thursdays are our usual. We go here. That's our thing. But where's the love? Where's the spontaneity? To the point I think you're about to make, you need to kind of find that connection before the kids just up and leave.
Absolutely. That's why you have to invest.
Well, y'all do a date night, twice a month or every week? Or
we do about twice a month, right?
Again, it's hard for little kids, especially when you have 3 and an infant. Right.
Exactly. Well, and what we do, and for us, it's not just and I'm very grateful for the grandparents, right? But usually we're able to leave the kids overnight, so we get actually extended time of just Christina and I being able to spend time with each other. But even at night, we make sure that we put the kids to bed, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then we're able to have time where we just talk and all that kind of stuff, because you gotta, first off, it's important to take that time. For me, just because, if you're someone that is familiar with the 5 love languages, Christina's is quality time. You know what I mean? So for her to feel, to get her cup filled.
For her to feel loved.
Yeah, for love. It's me sitting down with her and talking. It could be talking about anything. It doesn't have to even be necessarily something uber important, but it's important to her, which makes it important in turn, right? Because it's something that she wants to talk about, or is something that whether it's something she listened to or something she wants to talk about. Like today, like during lunch, we were sitting together, and again, we were talking through stuff for like houses and things like that. And you know, I know for her, right, she needs, you know, part of the way for her, it allows her to process things, but I know it makes her happy, like when we are just having these conversations together, right? And every once in a while, even for dinner, she'll feed the kids a little bit earlier, right, for them to be fed and done, and then her and I will sit down to have dinner, just her and I, while they're in the living room. That's an easy
thing to switch to every now and then. Obviously, family quality time is important as well. Sitting down as a family, creating that routine with your kids so they learned, you know, this is what we do in the evening. We sit down as a family, we talk, we share a meal. But I think it's good to break that up too, just to, as that husband and wife, to keep that roommate situation from happening.
Exactly, yeah. And so we do that. And to your point, like, you know, we're very much like, you know, if the kids are sitting down with us, like if you're done eating, okay, you go put your plate in the sink, and then you're going to come sit back down. Yeah. We're all sitting here together, right? There's nowhere you need to be, right? And again, if you instill those things, even when they're, you know, 5 and 3, like mine are, right? It becomes ingrained in them as routine of what you do, right? This is how we operate. This is what you're supposed to do, right? And then you're not dealing with these things when they get older. Now, they're going to be teenagers and be kind of like, about it sometimes. Yeah, but at the end.
Teenagers, my kid's 6, and he's like, all right, I'm done, bye. Like, he tries to, like, run off before you can be like, wait, but, because he's halfway up the stairs.
Yeah, you're like, whoa,
get down here. And he comes down smirking because he already knows. He's like, what? I'm done. I'm like, just because you're done doesn't mean dinner's done. Yeah. Now sit down.
Yeah, so sit your rear end down. We're going to be a happy family.
Yeah, right? He tries it like a few times, but he knows. But that's all part of raising kids too. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say we're backbusters. We're not like the, you know, 1950s type parent, but we have traditional values that we try to instill in our kids, like good manners. Like, I know I was raised like yes or no, sir, you know, to anything. When you're talking to a parent, like especially your parents, let alone like teachers, anybody else out in public, my son's really good about to teachers and all that, which is scary because we're not there. So you're like, excuse me, like you hope that the values you're instilling on them are like being used out there. And all we ever hear back from school is like, oh, he's the best mannered kid. He's always doing this. And we're like, oh, really? Because at home he's kind of like, we're all like, wait, what'd you say? Yes, Dad. Like, yeah. But like, I'm not super hard on him. We can let him say like, yes, Dad, no, Dad. So it's just that sign of respect is all it is.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think, and that's one thing for you know, Christina and I with our kids is that, you know, I don't want people to resent my kids. I don't want them to think like I never wanted to have my kids be so poorly behaved that like when people thought about them coming over, they would be like dreading it. You know what I mean? Like they would like, again, like family gatherings or whatever. Like you're bringing the kids over and they would be so poorly behaved that the person that you're going to see, they're like, oh God, like
yeah, it's like the kids from Talladega Nights, and they're like, you know who I'm talking about? Yeah. What's some of the quotes? He's like,
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Shut up, Chip, before I come at you like a spider monkey. Yeah,
I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass.
Exactly, those kids.
Oh man, I love love that movie so much. Oh, it's so good.
It's a classic.
It is.
There's a certain era of like comedy gold like that worked back then, but not. It's mainly because you could get away with it. Nowadays, you can't get away with movies like that. But Talladega Nights, that Adam Sandler generation with like Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore, like 50 for like there's a
the
Happy Gilmore for those guys.
But also Billy Madison. Oh.
Yeah, we were going through.
I love Billy.
About a month
Billy
or two
Madison.
ago, we just were going through Adam Sandler movies. Like some of them, my wife hadn't seen because she's sheltered and homeschooled, you know. So I'm trying to do my best and like. broaden her horizons,
Help her to become cultured, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. No, like I said, like the mid 2000s, right? You had Talladega Nights, and then you had also Anchorman. Like that right there, it just so. Will Ferrell was comedy gold. He was comedy gold, man. Oh, the golden days.
We're so bad. We went from talking about raising kids to making one reference to a movie, and we went through movies again.
We're just on. We're on the wrong carousel.
Podcast. We're the movie guys. Secretly, we're the movie guys. We just got politically, wound up through 2020 and before.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is again, I follow culture and politics all together. I mean, if people were actually like down to hear us do movie reviews and stuff, I would definitely say do more. But then also, like, I think we should just talk about it. Like
yeah, I'm not shy about it.
Yeah, like I saw the Elvis movie and it's been on my mind, right? Because it's been a couple of days, right?
Even Ben and them talk about movies and stuff.
Yeah, well, it is culture, right? It, like, again, like the movies and TV shows that come out of Hollywood are very much influential on people every single day, right? And so I think it's important. I mean, you have to engage in the culture, right? Like, like Hogwarts Legacy, right? I mean, it's part of the culture now, right? And you're a transphobe. Yeah, you see what I did? If you like it, you're a transphobe, right? I mean, it's just funny because these cultural things are now having political ramifications because like things intertwine. And I only bring that up because if I don't know, if you're listening and you're on TikTok, there's something very funny. It's a trend where this Hogwarts Legacy game. Right, you can actually kill people right now. If you're, some people are probably like, "Wow, Harry Potter's really stupid," right? And that's okay. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. The fact that you can actually kill is just very funny. I've been sending Taylor like a bunch of funny TikToks because it's just, I don't know, it makes me laugh. So anyway, it's important for us to engage in culture because these are the things that people are talking about all the time, right? Like that, or even another movie. Again, we're on movies. Watched recently is We Are the Ricardos on Amazon, which is about Ricky Ricardo and Lucy. I forget what her last name is, but the couple from I Love Lucy, right? And it's about them.
I think you were talking about that recently, weren't you? I Love Lucy something. Was that you?
Well, it's called We Are the Ricardos, I think. And it's about this week. That was very influential because they thought it was a big deal because they thought like Lucy was a communist for it was just a lot of different. It was just kind of wild. It's a very good movie. It's worth watching. But of course it's kind of a deep dive into the marriage between the two of them, right? And for me, with marriage being such a big deal, right? I found the movie it was really interesting because movies can have this effect where you're watching, you're like, oh yeah, that's good, but then I think really good movies have you like days afterwards, like thinking about it, and like thinking about like
that was Vengeance for me, dude.
Yeah, like
it's good.
Like for me, that's a good movie. It's like when you
I don't know I'd ever watch it again, but it's up at the top like 5 for me.
Wow, that's
what I'm saying. I walked away from that and you just like feel something. Mm-hmm. Like deeper, and it makes you think, and you can't get it out of your head. And it's not like it's just because you saw something so messed up that now you can't get it out of your mind.
But see, that's great storytelling, right? That's fantastic. That's why it pisses me off so much when Hollywood puts out
screws something up,
puts out shit. Like I don't like. Do you remember The Proud Family? Mm-hmm. Right, when we were kids, right? That was a very popular show, right? Which again is very ironic, right, with how racist America is. When we were growing up, one of the most popular shows on Disney was about an all-black family, and everybody watched it, right? But I'm sure you've seen this on TikTok or other places.
I saw a little bit.
It came back, right? And it's all the 1619 product. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, this is crappy, cringe-worthy content.
Well, it's even like
this is made for 8-year-olds. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's like you can't even walk through Target without like the very front of the store being something cultural or something like it's just over the top. Like they're trying too hard. You know what I mean? It's like in your face.
Absolutely, it's completely in your face, right? I mean, and I think it looks
like even growing up with like Little Bill. You remember the show Little Bill on Nick Jr.?
Yeah.
You think kids had a problem with that? No, nobody cared. I mean, we grew up in the most unracial, the most diverse generation there ever was. And politics made it like more race, more like, it's almost like we went back to segregation, like by trying to like push too hard to like black only dormitories and like all this kind of stuff.
Well, it's funny. Yeah. Well, what's funny is we had made so much progress in a post-racial America up until 2008. The irony of race relations crumbling as poorly as they have since the election and re-election of a black president in the United States is so ironic. It's truly unbearable, because to your point, when you think about when we were growing up, there wasn't like, you had the Rodney King riots, which, you know, were not great, all that kind of stuff, right? But generally speaking, it was very clear that we had come to a place where we had understood as a country, right, that these racial differences didn't matter, right? Again, when you look at the 90s and 2000s, the most influential people of the time, right, whether it was Michael Jordan, right, who is still one of the most influential people on the planet, Denzel Washington. Jam for life. That's right. Space Jam 1, because Space Jam 2 sucks because LeBron James is a terrible human being, right? But Michael Jordan will always be, I mean, he will be the greatest basketball player of all time, but also one of the most influential people of all time, right? You have Denzel Washington, right? And then Chris Rock, Will Smith, Eddie Murphy. Like, you have all these people.
All the Chris's.
Yeah, all the Chris's.
Chris Tucker. Chris Rock.
Yeah. Eddie
Murphy, like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you have all these guys that are such hugely influential people in the United States.
Dr. Dolittle, Daddy Daycare, and then he started coming off Shrek. Even just Eddie Murphy, I'm like, dude, that's a lot even for kids to grow up with. Like, kids knew Eddie Murphy, not the raunchy Eddie Murphy that our parents knew from like stand up. And
have you ever seen those old stand ups?
They're bad.
He's so funny, man.
I say bad as in like raunchy. They're just like vulgar. They're like directing to the point. You can't joke like that anymore, and it's kind of sad. But like, dude, they were tearing down barriers through their jokes,
right?
You know, like they were raising awareness and like making people question. And then he'd turn around a few years later and do like freaking Dr. Dolittle, like a kids movie, and like,
or Big Mama's House or whatever. Do you remember that? Dude. That movie was so bad.
Oh, what's the other one? Nutty Professor, dude. That was
it was so bad.
Yeah,
was so bad.
But it's like, what happened with all that? And now instead you get movies like this, and I had high hopes for it.
Oh, Jonah Hill's that new Eddie Murphy one, right? With him and Jonah Hill. Yeah.
You People.
Yeah,
is what the title is.
You said you watched it, right?
I had to break it up, and I finished the last 30 minutes 2 nights ago.
And?
Terrible.
Terrible
Movie. And I was told from my wife, who heard from her sister, that it was so funny. So funny.
Is it the sister? I'm not going to continue that. You just go on.
Would trace. So, and then we were like halfway through it, and my other sister-in-law was here the other night, and she was like, we had clicked it on because we finished watching the newest episode of 1923, and it was still kind of early, and she was like, well, what else are we going to watch? And I was like, well, we got to finish this. We got like 30 minutes left. And she's like, oh, y'all are watching this? And I was like, well, why do you say it like that? She goes, oh, it just wasn't that good. And I'm like, two different sister-in-laws were saying two different things, and yeah, me and the wife, we were like turning to each other, our 30 minutes in, and we're just like, I hope this gets better. I hope this one of those, like, they're making it so racial to make a point, and then it like is, we come for a circle. We can all get along, you know, despite our differences. And I didn't really feel it too much. It was more one of those, I don't know.
It probably felt more like the character of Jonah Hill, who's the white, you know, character. It's like, dude, hey, you know what? Like, at the end of it, like, we do accept you, sort of. You're still a terrible person because you're a straight white male, but we're gonna let it slide. It's probably kind of the attitude that it took. Versus,
I doubt you're gonna watch it. If you do, none of this is gonna matter.
I promise you,
at the end, because Eddie Murphy sabotaged like the whole wedding. He made it not happen. He made the two people, main characters, who, by the way, I just learned this. They didn't even kiss for real at the end. They got close, and then the rest was CGI. So if you look at it close, it's kind of like muddied together. I saw a TikTok on it because apparently in the real thing, it's hard to notice, but yeah, apparently they had such poor chemistry on set that Jonah Hill and the girl who played, I think, Amira or whatever her name was, they didn't even kiss for real in the movie. So, I mean, off to a great start. But yeah, so Eddie Murphy breaks them up and then he gets back together. But there was no like, it was all about accepting black people and apologizing for like trying too hard and trying too hard to like Jonah Hill's mom was like, I love your braids. I love black culture. I've been reading up on them and all. And it pissed off the main character. It's like, I'm not a black person. I'm a mirror. Like, you can't see me for me. You're seeing me as a culture. And the mom was just trying, in my opinion. But it came across bad. But on the other side, it was just like, they accepted Jonah Hill. You can marry my daughter, but it didn't change anything for white people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, white people are still terrible.
We're going to give you another chance because it turns out you're cool. But it's like, there was no breaking down of walls, no breaking down of barriers. It was still
F white people.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just...
Well, what's funny about that is it could be a story. It could have been a heartwarming story about.
I feel like it had potential. It was funny in the beginning.
Could have been. It could have been a story about like, look, see, like, yes, we have racial differences, but it doesn't mean we can't be here in unity. And
dude, the funniest part was the first 10 minutes when it's all Jonah Hill and it was the Jewish angle, and he was all like, I don't know. They went to like, it was, I forget the name, but there was this, I should ask Ben Shapiro, but it was like I don't want to say like Krav Maga, but that's its fighting stuff. What's it called? When they go and it's like a 10-day thing. You know what I'm talking about? It's like Lent or something, but it's like for them.
Oh, man.
Anyways.
Is it Yom Kippur?
Yeah, that.
Is that okay?
I think, pretty sure, 90% there. That was, anyways, and it was like they go to church and the family and he's all tatted up and people are like, it's funny. If you're going to watch the movie, just watch the first 10, 15 minutes. Like
I won't watch
and then just you're good. But that, like, if the whole movie was like that and it was like, they'd have been good. And I'm not even saying that as in just like the Jewish angle, because we've had movies like that. And we don't need that. But I mean, we could have had the same black family, the whole thing, and made it funny. There was one that we were talking about the other. No, I don't think it was you. I think it was me and the wife. We were talking about it. It was the dude from Transformers who died, Bernie Mac. I think it was Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher, and it was Not You or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was like back in like the early 2000s. Yeah,
and he's like, you're not dating my daughter. You're white. You know,
yeah.
You can't marry my daughter. And it was like this getting to know each other, breaking down the walls. It was the same freaking movie as You People, but without any of the political stuff. And at the end of it, it was wholesome. It was good. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. That's what I wanted out of this, but with the Jonah Hill type of humor, kind of like edgy and fun.
Yeah.
I lost it, man.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's because for a lot of Hollywood, right, you know, because they're more left-leaning, right, by a lot, you know, what's become more important is to make the political point, right, versus creating good art. That is why, again, and that's again why the average American, for a lot of things that Hollywood comes out with, they look at Hollywood and say, you know, F you. Like, I'm not gonna watch something about you. I'm not gonna watch something that is typically about you criticizing how terrible of a person I am when you don't even know who I am.
Yeah,
you don't know who I am. You don't know
like,
how I live.
You want me to pay to watch that, to get like told to or spoken to or taught to like that, rather than just being entertained.
Right, exactly. And again, the average person is just sick and tired of that,
it's
right?
One thing if you go into a movie like kind of expecting it. You know, what's the movie? It was like 20 Years a Slave or something like that.
12 Years a Slave,
12 years. But like, you, as a customer, you know what you're going to get out of that movie. You want to see it. You want to be educated. You want to see what it was like. Go through history, kind of see it through their eyes kind of thing. That's fine. The problem is you're going to see just a freaking Marvel movie and it's just forced down your throat and it's just put in there unexpected, you know? That's what we don't want.
The MCU.
Mm-hmm.
God, terrible. Everything sucks. It is. It is.
I mean,
right?
all the more reason why. I mean, there's a lot of hope for like alternative media companies now. It's kind of like what the Daily Wire is trying to do, and I think honestly, so far it's been kind of successful. I hope more outlets come out just to tackle, you know, Hollywood, so we can actually get some art.
I mean, here's the thing. Right? I think Hollywood will become bifurcated because you even have things like, I already know about this. I don't know if you saw this, but like Zach Levi, He's the guy that plays
Shazam.
Shazam, yeah. Like someone asked him a question on Twitter saying like, do you think like Pfizer is, how did the person put it? Basically asking like, do you think Pfizer is like as an evil company? And he said absolutely. Right, and like everyone on Twitter with the woke bomb was like, "Oh, this is terrible, blah blah." And what's
do you remember when the left used to like attack big pharma?
Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's, you know what's really funny about that is all he did was he just posted this thing from like 2008, I think, about Pfizer and how much money they've had to pay out in settlements, right? For like
those commercials like mesothelioma.
Right, yeah, like you know from
I fumbled that word just then, but
but I know
I'm not even drinking. This is mineral water.
It's some powerful.
Yo, my best friend.
It's a strong stuff.
I gotta say 1877 from Mineral Wells, Texas, though.
Hashtag
not a sponsor. Yet.
You beat me to it. Well, HEB is kind of woke, so I don't think they would ever sponsor anything like this. Like, because I think you and I talked about this.
HEB?
Yeah. Okay, you want to know something crazy? There was there's a brewery that was gonna host Kyle Rittenhouse for something.
And HEB refused to take the product?
HEB told them, if you do this, we're taking your crap off. We're taking your beer off our shelves.
Dude, I just dropped $300 at HEB today. I still love it, but
here's the thing. Okay, here's my thing on this. Okay, when it comes to grocery stores,
out of everything.
No, okay. Every grocery store you go to, they're giving money or doing something against your interests. Okay, unless you are on a farm where you can source all your own stuff, you have no choice. Just go to the damn store. Okay,
like I know it's not good about going local. They do like support like a lot of local Texas stuff,
right? And
compared to say like Kroger.
Yeah, but again, like you have this where they told that company, right, if you don't get rid of Kyle Rittenhouse, you can't be on our shelves, which is stupid and crappy.
Heard about that.
And they've also given money for like a drag show thing, and I'm like, that's bad and everything. But then, okay, Kroger was firing people for not getting vaccinated, okay, and Walmart gives money to every other thing.
Kroger also fired two people for not wearing the
the practice. Although they sued and won on that suit, so that was very important. Right, and for freedom of speech, that's also very important. But then also you have, Walmart, I'm sure, gives money to everything else, including Planned Parenthood and also the kind of crap. So guess what, right? Unless you're going to the local farmers market, right, and you have access to that where you're buying from the farmers itself, okay, you got to go grocery shopping, okay?
Yeah, it's kind of like bend over backwards there.
Like, look, okay,
where you do have a say.
Fight culturally, just fight. Culturally, speak out. That's how you speak out, right? And then also speak with your dollars, right? You can also try to do your best, right, to find places that or brands, right, that are aligned with your values, right? Like Goya, right? Greatest beans in the world.
They're right up here. Down the road,
they are. And they're outside of Houston, right? So they're local here too, right? But the CEO was snarky with AOC, so that's a win for me.
Nice. Well, again, you can fight with your dollar, like you were saying. Me, I don't think I'm going to an AMC movie theater ever again. Have you seen about AMC?
No.
So AMC's starting this new thing where they're trying to do ticket pricing after the airline model, and they're calling it sightline seeing.
That is
where
so
the
stupid.
Best seats cost more money compared to the side seats or the nosebleeds at the top. So now it's not like a one shoe fits all and you get to pick your seating and first come first serve gets good seats and reserve it. Now you're paying and the price changes per seat, almost like a freaking concert or something.
That is so stupid.
Only AMC is doing this, and they're receiving somewhat of a backlash for just how recent it's been.
That's not going to last long. I mean, do we even have an AMC theater around here? I think they're all Cinemark, aren't they?
No, there's a few. Willowbrook still has that AMC, but that's rough.
Well, that's yeah. You don't go around those parts.
They used to be Santikos, and then they got Regal bottom out. So we have Regals now. Regals and Cinemarks are mainly around here.
Yeah.
At least the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. We have that bomb ass Regal.
But anyways, I mean,
not to talk about more movies. I
can't tell you the last time I went to a movie theater. Just kids happen.
Spider-Man was the last time I went to a movie theater to watch a movie. And the next time I'm going to go to the movie there will be for Ant-Man, because Eli keeps asking me over and over again.
Is there another one coming out?
Yeah, in like a couple weeks.
Shows what I know.
Yeah, he saw the trailer and he's like, that looks awesome. I'm like, fine.
But do you know what I do know?
What?
China is watching you.
Yeah, they are. I guess we should probably talk about the things we said we were going to talk about.
We'll just sprinkle
An
it in
hour
just a little
into
bit.
this? Oh my god!
It's like
okay.
It's like the clickbait for the thumbnail. It's like it has nothing to do with the whole show, and then you just get like 30 seconds worth of.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so I guess to
do.
actually talk about what we said we were going to talk about, Chinese spy balloon. I just have no words. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Are you surprised? No.
Am I surprised? No. Did it happen during Trump? I don't know. Maybe, sure. If it did, they didn't say anything about it. Here's how I know it probably didn't happen.
Well, apparently during Trump, intelligence informed Trump later that it came in and got out, but it wasn't like this ongoing thing. This one flew in from Canada across Alaska, and they shot it down in what, South Carolina?
I thought it was in Montana.
It flew through Montana.
Oh, okay.
I heard they didn't shoot it down until it was like over South Carolina or South Dakota. One of the two.
And then it's part of apparently like a global surveillance thing that China's doing. I don't know. Anyway, it's just stupid. It's all dumb. Everything's dumb. Everything's just stupid. Okay? And then I'll go from that to saying I watched 10 minutes of the State of the Union. I couldn't watch anymore. It was just pathetic. It was just dumb.
I just couldn't. I was watching clips of it, and even then, there's no coherent sentence.
He can't speak. And this is why I'm glad we don't talk about this very often anymore, because it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
Right? The president of the United States is a fucking idiot. He's a moron. He can't speak. He doesn't know where he is. Right? He was fighting with, Republicans basically, arguing with them half the time during his speech. Like, oh, let me tell you, folks.
When he was trying to make like a Chuck Schumer joke at the very beginning or something.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. He does not know where he is.
Yeah, he fumbled.
He couldn't make the jokes, right? And they had these weird, like, standing ovations for the first lady, and she like made out with Kamala's husband, right?
So
it's just
weird.
so odd. It was just everything about it was just bizarre and stupid. And the sooner this presidency can end, the better. I honestly, I gotta tell you, I don't give a shit who's president next, as long as it's not Joe Biden. I can't do this anymore. I'd rather have AOC as president.
Well, they were saying that
Joe
by the time
Biden.
he's like, if he was to get reelected, he'd be like 85, 87 by the time he's out.
Yes.
That's
no. He'd be like 88.
That's
like,
crazy.
He's stupid old. It's ridiculous. And you know what? Again, it just goes like
term limits, people.
Not even that. We should have age limits.
Yeah, because technically is already a
these
two-term limit.
people won't die and leave us alone, right? Him, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters.
They're all crypt keepers, man. They're just
Mitch
there.
McConnell, Chuck Schumer. Like, these people will not just go away. These baby boomers are or whatever they are, silent generation baby boomers. They won't go away.
They just want to stay there and keep getting richer.
Yeah, and they are,
Meanwhile, while sending our money, even more so to Ukraine, it's just how much money we've sent over there is ridiculous.
I don't know. It's stupid, right? We print money like no tomorrow, right? So
this
all of our
administration
dollars
doesn't care because it's the next administration's problem. I don't know about you. I'm 99% through my tax return. I just haven't filed it. It's the lowest I've ever gotten. I've got 3 dependents now, and it's
you would have thought Iris would have been at least a little something, right? No.
2 years ago with the 2 kids. I mean, I'm talking like I was getting like $8,000 back or something like that, and I'm still where you kind of send the max, where they take the max, so you never have to pay, but you should get some decent back. Nothing's changed. I'm still doing all that, and I'm getting like $1,000 back. It's still better than owing. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, I gotta do my taxes.
But see, mine's taken out per paycheck throughout the whole year, so I expect to hopefully get something back. 3 dependents, and that's it. I'm like,
yeah, I gotta do that. I called my tax lady the other day. I just need to do it, get it over with. Anyway,
Band-Aid.
So yeah, so it just I have no words. It's just.
And that's why I've been talking about movies.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Yeah, I mean, the problem there's nothing else. I mean, it's just dumb at this point. Like it's stupid.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? It's just dumb. Everything about it is just it pisses me off, right? And they just hate you. Remember, I've said it before. They hate you. These people in Washington hate you. Republican and Democrat. They hate you.
They think
you're
dumb.
annoying. They think you're dumb.
They think that they can. Oh, we'll fool them. Like a month before, the polls start, we'll start telling them we're for this, we're for that, and they'll just forget. And surprisingly, a lot of people do. And then they just vote that way. And like, do you not remember the last 3.5, 4 years of all the other promises that were empty? The campaign promises and all. People need to wake up. And I think this country is slowly waking back up. I think there's a wave of patriotism that's coming back, kind of like pastime America used to be, like football and apple pie kind of. But we'll see.
I don't know. Maybe. It's dumb.
I think I'm more of an optimist about it than you are.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, empires come and go. Our lives come. I mean, everything is fleeting, right? And ultimately, in the greater scheme, right? The only thing that matters is us. If you are someone who believes, right, is the journey to heaven, right? Because that is where our eternal salvation lies. It does not lie. It does not lie here on earth.
This mortal plane.
Yeah, it is. This world will come and go, just like, and everything in it will come and go. Right, so it's about where are we going, right? It doesn't mean we just ignore. Doesn't mean we don't engage. Doesn't mean we don't fight for moral and just reasons, right? But that is reality, and more than anything else, we are in a spiritual battle, right? I mean, I guess to wrap it up, right? I mean, when you look at again on one of the iconically cultural things that there are now. Granted, like no one really watches the Grammys anymore, which is a good thing, just like the Oscars and everything. Again, the average American is checked out because you spent the last 10 years basically talking about how they're a terrible, horrible, transphobic, homophobic, racist, blah, blah. So again, they're like, well, okay, well, take a long walk off a short pier and I'm out. I'm not watching this anymore. However, right, people are still engaging in this. There's still culture. And it's really funny because, for a long time, there have been people on the right that have said, like, Hollywood is evil, it's satanic, right? And even people on the right would say, well, that's kind of crazy. What are you talking about? And then you have Sam Smith dressing up like Satan and doing, like, a demonic ritual, basically, on stage.
But even before that, Lil Nas X and the sneakers that he was selling with his blood in it.
Right, well, then even the music video at the time where it was him basically pole dancing down to hell, right, and twerking on Satan, like,
yeah, and okay, some of this is art, cool, but then it becomes more and more. It's like not this. Now it's not just the person's music video. Now that's how you dressed up for the world to see at the Grammys.
Right, and here's the thing, and people will try to make this argument, like, well, they don't say they believe, right? They're just doing. It's like here's the thing, right? When a very old quote was, the greatest lie the greatest lie the devil ever pulled was convincing people he did not exist.
Yeah.
Right. And again, it is the battle we're in is a spiritual battle against powers and principalities. Okay. And it is shown in full display, right? Especially when you have, that sort of performance by Sam Smith, right? Sponsored by Pfizer. Hashtag not a sponsor. Where it's very
funny, but it is, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
Everything's sponsored by Pfizer now.
Yeah. And so, and the biggest thing is, right, it doesn't matter if they would say they believe, it's still the action and the performance of doing that, right, of partaking in it. And it's alarming, it's disturbing. That's partially why they do it. And that's where, what was interesting is, there's this music group called Maverick City, who is a Christian like contemporary group, right? And they received the Grammy for that, and they were getting a lot of flack for being there and not walking out, right, in the performance, right? Because how could you be there with all these people, right, all these non-believers, and you have Sam Smith's performance, and here's the thing: would I, or any Christian have blamed them for walking out saying, I'm not going to sit here while these people are doing this, whether they believe or not? No, I don't think anyone would have blamed them. However, right, when they were on stage accepting the award, right, they gave them a national platform to momentarily talk about Jesus, right, and talk about Christ. And so
I think that was more powerful than just walking
I
around.
agree, because you engage people, right, and allow maybe someone's heart that is listening or watching to be open and saying, that's really
it's like it shines a little bit of light there instead of just receding.
Right, and that's where it goes to the point I made earlier, is that it is important for us to engage in the culture. Do not run away from it. Face it head on. Face it head on. It's uncomfortable. It's not
Full
fun.
Metal Jacket.
Right. But it is important, right? Because it is only when we engage that we're able to actually fight back, right, and actually take back the culture, right? Again, one of the biggest mistakes that happened on the right and in religious communities for the last, for 20 or so years prior to where we are now, is they just kind of said, we're going to turn the other cheek. We're just going to pretend like it's not happening, right? And of course, now we are at the point that we are, right? You have that sort of performance by Sam Smith. They're trying to trans your kids, right? All these kind of things that we thought would never have happened, right? Because we were just going to disengage and say, well, y'all do what you want. That's a libertarian idea. You guys do what you do. I'll do what I do. We just won't bother each other. But the reality is they don't want acceptance. They don't want just acceptance. They want you to celebrate the things that they're doing. And you cannot, right? We cannot. And that's where we are, right? We have to engage with the culture, fight back.
If anything, just stand your ground, because if you recede and if they can do it, I'll just go over here. No, don't change your ways. Stand your ground. Stay there, because they want you to either join the programming or to get out of the way. But I mean, and
if you don't stand your ground, you will be forced to do what they tell you. Before you know it, again, we say, oh, well, that couldn't happen. The slippery
It's been happening. Wake up.
Yeah,
we said on our show, look how much we've lost in just the last 3 presidents.
Yeah, the last decade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's again, the idea that the left always threw around this. It was the slippery slope
Did I send
fallacy.
You that one?
Right? Yeah.
The graph?
Yeah.
Went quick.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we just want to get married, and again, now we're at the point where not only do you have to accept trans people, but you have to trans your kids. It's like, okay, yeah, but again, it's it has to gotten that extreme for people to now start saying, whoa, right? Anyway, that's where we leave ourselves, right? We got to engage. We got to do something about it. So, I mean, I think that just about makes our point. You know, and I will say we promised. Or we talked about what we promised, right? So if you're here...
Technically.
Right, if you are here at this point...
You made it.
Because you saw our intro and you said, oh, I want to hear them talk about that. Well, now here you have it. We talked about it. Yeah, that last part was for you. Everything else was for us because that's just what we like to talk about, right? And, you can either like it or not. It's just what it is.
If they stuck around this long, I mean, they're here for us anyways.
I hope so. I hope you are, right? I mean,
yeah.
One of our 81 YouTube subscribers, we're almost at 100. We're almost there. It's growing slowly.
It's a snowball, man.
It is.
It picks up momentum.
It does. And and again, it's been good. And like I said, next week the plan is to have Zach and C-Love back on to continue, because for me, I'd like to go more into fatherhood, some other stuff that I know Zach is a new dad. Yeah, Chris isn't married yet, but I think we can talk about some more stuff.
Yeah,
I think it'll be good. It'll be fun. It'll be excellent. So that's the plan, is to have them back on. We'll see, because you know what? You never know what's going to happen. But anyway, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, right? Share the show with your friends, right? If you are part of the resistance, right? Send it to someone. I'm just kidding, right? But if you know someone that is open to these kind of things, likes hearing about these sort of topics, right? Again, the things that we talk about, share it with them, right? Let them know. Again, you can find us also on Instagram at the Counterculture Cast, and we'll be on Apple and Spotify Eventually, it gets on there eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not right away, but it does get there eventually.
Maybe out of a different order. We're primarily on YouTube.
Different order, right? It may be on a random day. Someday it'll be on a Tuesday. It'll be on a Thursday. It just depends on what day Taylor remembers. So, we have an audio podcast.
Hey, 3 kids, full-time job, and this lovely hobby. So
exactly, right? And really, we're YouTubers now, I guess, right? So,
that's where it's at.
So anyway, that's our show. We'll catch you guys later. Have a great week.
Later.